This is an orientation for work-based learning. My name is Joe Johnson, and I'm a curriculum coordinator. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and look at the Moodle part of the work-based learning course. If you log into your work-based learning class, you'll go into a section called Work-Based Learning Info. This is a one-stop place for you to go and work with all of the documents that are required for work-based learning. Work-based learning is very paperwork intensive and due date intensive. So paperwork needs to be done, and it needs to be done by certain dates. So this place inside of your Moodle course gives you access to all the documents you'll need and the due dates on which they are required. A work-based learning course is actually an agreement between 4 parties. We have you, the student, me, the instructor. We also have the employer, where you're going to be working, and then we have the work-based learning office, which we turn all the paperwork into. So we need to make sure that we keep the work-based learning office happy and get all the work turned in on time. So if we scroll down, we can see a checklist that has been created. So on your screen, you'll see this checklist. And what we're going to do is use this checklist to verify that all your work-based learning items have been submitted to me, your instructor. This checklist can only be updated by me, your instructor. And I'm not going to check anything off of this checklist until it's been reviewed and accepted. So when you send me a document to be turned in for work-based learning, I'm going to take some time to look at it and make sure everything's done. All the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. Once I do that, I'll go ahead and check it off on your list. Once an item has been checked off on your list, you no longer need to worry about it. It's been accepted, and it is in a proper format for the work-based learning office. Please remember that your final documents cannot be submitted electronically because they require signatures. They require your signature, they require my signature, they require signatures from your employer. So what I mean by that is that you can't just open up a document and type your name in and send it back to me. You're going to have to print it out, sign it, and either mail it to the college or scan it in and send it back to me. So you can scan it in if you have access to a scanner and send the document back to me if you would like. But they have to have all the signatures and dates filled in. Please don't photograph work-based learning documents with cell phones and submit them. That the quality of those pictures are not high enough for us to use them as your work-based learning documents. So we're going to go ahead and click inside the work-based document, work-based learning document checklist. You'll notice there's 10 key items that we need to submit. And I'm going to go over each one of those items now so that you know exactly what you need to submit. The first thing we need to have submitted is a job description. I'm going to go ahead and open up the form. All forms are fillable, and you can edit and fill them in Microsoft Word. Inside your job description document, you're going to type the location and the duties that you're going to perform while you're there. This document needs to be signed by you, needs to be signed by your employer, and me, your faculty coordinator. This is an agreement that this is the work you're going to do, and this is where you're going to do it at. And we need to all agree upon that before the co-op gets started. Next thing on the checklist is a job application. This document's primary purpose is to give me all the information about your employer so that I can contact them, I can get a hold of them, who at the employer is your supervisor, those types of informations. This document needs to be signed by you and by me. This document does not need to be signed by your employer. Each one of those documents is worth 5% of your grade, final grade. We also need a legal document signed. This document outlines the responsibilities that you're going to bear during this co-op, during this work-based learning opportunity, what the employer is responsible to do for you, what the school is responsible to do for you. So it's an agreement between the three parties and our relationship, and it outlines our responsibilities to one another. This document needs to be signed by your supervisor at your employer, needs to be signed by you, and also needs to be signed by me. So we have 3 signatures on this document, this agreement. The next document would be the Measurable Learning Objectives Worksheet. That worksheet is going to outline what you want to achieve during your work-based learning. So you're going to describe your job responsibilities, and you're going to come up with 3 SMART objectives for your co-op. SMART is an acronym meaning specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and timely. Specific means I need you to specify one thing, one goal. I don't need multiple goals in one statement. Each statement is going to have one goal. I need to be able to measure whether you successfully completed that goal. It needs to be something that's action-oriented, something that's realistic for you to do during the semester. Sometimes we try to take on projects or make goals that are going to take longer than a semester. Well, we can't do that in this co-op. They need to be realistic and time-bound where it fits within the semester. If you need help writing these learning objectives, I will help you. What I need you to do is go ahead and make me a draft, send it to me, and then I will send it back and forth with you. You're going to speak with your employer about it, and we're going to come up, and all 3 of us are going to agree on a goal, 3 goals for you to achieve this semester. This document needs to be signed by you, by your employer, and by me. About mid-semester, you're going to do an evaluation. This evaluation is going to be signed by your employer and by me, and we are going to communicate with you how you're doing at the co-op site. We're going to judge your appearance, whether you're dependable. We're going to measure your communication skills, those types of things. All of those things are listed on this form. And this would be similar to an evaluation you would have with an employer if you were fully employed with an employer. So this needs to be done in the middle of the semester. All the due dates are in the Moodle checklist. While you're working at the work-based learning site, you're probably going to have some kind of timesheet that you fill out for your employer. They have their own internal timesheets and ways to keep track of your time. For Pitt Community College, for our co-op, our work-based learning, we have our own worksheet that you also need to fill out. So you're probably going to have to fill out 2 timesheets, one for your employer and one for us. This is the work-based learning timesheet for this semester. You click on it and fill it in. Instructions on how to fill it in are on the worksheet. That needs to be completed with all the information at the top, your hours that you worked, and it needs to be signed by you, by your employer, and also by me. When the end of the semester nears, you're going to do a self-evaluation worksheet. And this worksheet is really for you to evaluate yourself, but to also evaluate your employer, the position at your employer. Let us know whether you got a lot out of the work-based learning experience. We need to know at the school to know whether we need to continue to place work-based learning students in that job slot. This needs to be signed by you and also by me. This does not get signed by your employer. You don't show it to your employer. This is going to be a discussion between you and your faculty advisor. I am also going to get you to submit a form to your employer that evaluates your performance at the end of the semester. So it's very similar to the mid-semester worksheet, but this is the end of the semester worksheet. Your employer will have to sign it, and I will have to sign it. We also have an end of semester instructor survey. That is you rating how I am doing my job. It will become available near the end of the semester. Most of the time you cannot do it a week before the end of the semester. So the last thing would be your resume. I want you to submit your updated resume that contains all of the information for your co-op. And then I'm going to keep that in case I get information about another job or work-based learning opportunity. I can tell them about you and help you find another work-based learning position or a job. Once you've completed all of that, you'll have completed all of the paperwork requirements for your co-op. Notice each requirement has a percentage next to it. That's how much it's going to count towards your final grade. If you have any questions, email me or email your faculty advisor to get information about filling out forms or anything else that you need.